States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion to accept the December 5th minutes. Been moved. Is there support? Been moved, supported. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Public comment. Yes.
Jamie Snyder, Cato Township. I am just concerned about the way that the meeting was posted today. The two different dates on the website. I did email Todd and then it was changed, but I never received an email back confirming the date of the meeting. That would have been nice to let other people know. So I'm not certain if that's a OMA violation or not, but it is something that I am bringing to your attention.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Again,
I think the dates have been changed, right?
they were changed today,
So,
less than 18
I don't
hours.
know how that happened, but it happened. Any other comments? We'll move on. Can we have the January bills?
Planning Commission wages for December.
Can't hear you.
Right here.
No, speak up.
Planning Commission wages for December, $220. Planning Commission bonus, $500. Verizon, $154.62. The clerk rental, $150. The treasurer rental, $150. Consumers, $141.63. $38.40 and $108.99. The CPA, $3,800. Cato special assessment tax, $168. Brian Buhaltz, $675. DTE, $156. LAN Publishing, $304. Dave Kelsey for zoning, $481.84. Deb Rashid, $1203.52. Heidi Gartley, $924.52. The board per diem, $3208.28. Paint for the community center, $34.25. Planning commission meeting, $210. Postage for the clerk and the treasurer, $480 each. KCI, $49.03. Macomb County treasurer, $5.86. FICA, $1562.28. State withholding, $809.49. Cass Air, $75.24. 5 forms, $115.97. Staples for toner, $235.98. Staples for external hardware, $54.99. Deputies, $27.40.37. And the zoning variance meeting, $110, for a total of $83,870.31.
Is there a motion to accept the clerk's report? Pay the bills?
I make a motion, we pay the bills, accept the report.
Support? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And the treasurer's report.
Cato Township checking, our beginning balance was $421,380.55. Our income was $99,547.57. Our bills totaled $83,870.31. Our ending balance is $437,057.81. Fire district, our beginning balance was $931.68. We have an income of 25 cents. We have a bill of $8.49. We have an ending balance of $1,923.44. Honeymoon Heights, our beginning balance was $1,900.92. We have an income of 25 cents. We have a bill of $85.04. Our ending balance is $1,816.13. CDs, our beginning and ending balance is the same at $107,342.66. And that's as of 9/30. We haven't got our update yet for the end of the year.
Is there a motion to accept the
beginning township balance, you said it ended in 55, and it says 60.6.
I didn't have it spread over two.
Okay.
It rounded up,
I'm making sure, that's fine.
my fault.
Is there a motion to accept the, treasurer's report?
So move.
Support? Discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Zoning,
Okay, for the month of December at 10182 Tamarack Road, there's a variance that was approved for 32 by 48 pole barn. It was the height, was the, what the variance was for. 9633 M46 at dwelling, 8676 Edgar Road is enclosed porch. And there's another one on Honeymoon Heights. I don't have the address, but is that gonna go to the ZBA or not? Cause it's not gonna be approved because it's against our zoning saying you can't have an accessory building
is that 10?
in Honeymoon Heights.
As far as I know, it's not gonna go to variance. There's no
Okay.
use of having them.
Yeah, it's gonna be denied, I know, so, anyway, I have that written down. I filed it, at my house, so I wrote it down, so, for future reference. Other than that, that's all. For, violations on Cutler Road, the one, I forgot, it's the one farthest east. I did mail, I sent out 2 or 3, citation tickets to guy living there, and he paid one, and I think the other 2 he didn't pay, so now I should have done this in the beginning, but I sent it to the landowner himself, and I talked to him, he called me about it, and, so he does have the, oh my gosh, the violation. I don't believe I didn't write the ticket out yet, but as soon as the date's up, I'm gonna write him the ticket, and he said he's gonna contact his lawyer. I don't think against us, but I believe, I've talked to him in the past, and the guy that's living there with all the blight, he's buying the property on land contract, and according to the original owner, he's not paying all the time or missing payments, so the guy, the owner wants him out of there. I think that's what the attorney's for, because it's nothing to do with us, we're doing it by the book, so, other than that, that's about it.
Anybody have any questions today?
I do for the first one, you said, Dave, did they have a meeting for this?
Yes, we did a couple nights ago, wasn't it?
Last Thursday night.
That's Thursday.
No, the approved then, no.
Yes, it
So,
was.
so we gotta give him $200 back?
No,
No.
he paid, now this one here is in question, that's what I brought up, that's one that's not, the guy
No,
applied for.
I was saying the height here though.
Yeah, that was approved, so he has to pay. He paid, there was a hearing.
So was it higher than the 18 feet then?
Yes,
Okay.
it was,
21 feet.
21 feet, yeah.
Okay, alright. I got that written down here.
And this other one, I don't know what's happening with that, it's, it'd be a waste of the guy's
Yes.
time and money if it goes.
No, I do. I understand that. Okay.
So, well, I would assume it's gonna be not up to me.
Any other questions of Dave? Moving on. New business. On the agenda, we have, Todd, denied, the county treasurer offered us, I think 3 parcels out in, did you talk to you about that? What we had, or?
Well, I know what you're talking about though.
Oh, anyway, we denied the parcels, we, didn't,
The county wants to turn them back over to the township, and the township denied them, which means they go back to on the auction as delinquent taxes.
they'll get, nobody picks them up at the county, they'll go to the state. Any other new business?
I have a couple just in zoning here from planning
Sure.
commission.
Sure.
So I wanted to say thank you for the reimbursement to the board, for the extra, for the bonus. And then this master plan, you wanna talk about that?
Sure.
You got an email for it, did you guys see it? Todd sent it out for you last. she did a very,
You must have sent it to the board members, I didn't get a copy.
okay, cause it's
You
a,
sent an email?
yeah, an email.
An email.
It's in an email, okay.
From McKenna Land Planning, she came to the meeting finally, and she did a very good job of presenting herself. And she got this together for tonight's meeting. And she said $21,500, is her estimate to do the whole master plan. She quoted at our meeting 16 to 22,000, she come back with a proposal of 21.5. So I don't, Todd was gonna give us whoever the village was using, but did he give you any reminder or?
You making a motion to accept?
I think, I mean, unless the board wants to have another one to compare to, we've been waiting this long for this one finally.
I mean, there's no motion, but we have discussion on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Do you need all those services that they're providing? I know
What I
it's
can-
kinda à la carte, I mean, you know, you could pick, choose some of them.
Yes, and that's what I asked her too, was, I know we budgeted some money for this, and she said about half of it would be by June, cause the biggest part's the first half, and then our second half, so I said by then we could have it budgeted for the other 10, 11,000, 12,000, whatever it ended up being. And we asked her about if we had a question about it, is she like an attorney, or we get charged by the minute, and she said no, if they charge in 15-minute increments. So if you have a 5-minute question, she doesn't really do it now, but if she has to look up a bunch of stuff and it's longer than 15 minutes, then it'll be charged 15 minutes, is how she explained it to us. She's done, Township of Holland Township, and she's working on the city of Sparta right now, one she's, working on. So, I felt she did a good job, and she's used to a smaller town with a village in it, and so, that's what I mean, you look at Jordan, you pick and choose, but the way she said it and proposed it, I felt, I mean, she said that she can have a lot more, public comment, meetings if you wanted more than one, but I felt one would be sufficient unless there's a lot that come, and she said she could expand it then, so. Cause I see like the city of Holland, they had like 40 meetings for it, I mean, people need that kinda, that's a
Is she
big.
coming to everyone? I can remember what.
No, she didn't, just when as far as I understood, the first couple three, and I remember Brandy, the first couple three, and then if we needed her more, but as far as I knew, at least the first couple, and then for the other meetings she put down. So,
And then those first 3 meetings,
Yeah.
all that information, or, well, I mean, obviously she should be doing some of it.
yeah, I mean, that's what I say, if we meet January, March, May, there's your 3 meetings.
You, wanna make a motion then to
I
hire her?
will make a motion to hire McKenna Land Planning to do the master plan.
Is there support?
For the, all quoted on there?
I assume.
Support.
Any more discussion? I know we've had quite a time getting anybody to answer our mails.
Yeah,
I think
it's-
you finally got somebody,
Yes.
if she present herself.
Yeah, it's,
Do you have any comment, Brandy?
I thought she was very professional. She definitely has experience in agricultural communities that really focus on the ag preservation and recreation, and also, like David mentioned, having a village within the township. I thought she was great. She was thorough. She answered all our questions. I mean, she spent 45 minutes talking to us. I thought she was a really good representative for their firm.
All those in favor of hiring, McKenna, is it?
Yes, it's McKenna Land Planning.
McKenna Land Planning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's what I had. Okay.
Any other new business?
The day before Christmas, we had the snow day at work, so Joe and I came in and fixed all the tables that we could fix. the ones that up on the wall need to go, there's broken pieces, holes in the top. So I would like to make a motion that we just give those away, because they were given, most of them were given to us. And, I'd also like to make a motion that we measure and fix our blinds next.
Is there, support to the motion? Moved and supported, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And I'll bring a quote back for the blinds next month.
And we don't have very many.
But they're falling down and breaking and.
They, I'd like to congratulate, Todd and Joyce on the audit. I don't think I ever seen an audit that they didn't find something wrong to make a comment or ask for, want us to do something different. Which, I think you all got a copy of the cover letter for the audit. As you can see, the painting, are they done in the bathrooms too, or?
Yep.
Everything's done?
Yep, we're on to old business now for the painting?
Yes.
Okay, so he did come in and, Todd and I were both here, happened to be here when he came. And I did contact the board members and ask them about painting the paneling, because I've had so many comments, please paint the paneling. He gave us a quote, so the board members agreed, yes, let's go ahead and make that, part of the painting while he was here. He did also do the trim around the doors. We did not do the doors. He said he can come back and do doors if we decide, but I think they look fine. He is gonna come back and quote us for the bathroom floors, and that will go for next year. And then also this outside door, he couldn't paint it because of the weather, and so he's gonna quote us for that as well. And that way, we'll be all up to date. And then Joe and I also went and got screws for the coat rack out there, and we screwed that to the wall, because it was basically just kinda hanging on. So, we decided, some kid decided to grab hold of that and start swinging, it would not be a very good thing, so it should be pretty stable now.
Any other business to come before the board? Public comment?
I would like to address the board regarding the zoning board of appeals, or the ZBA. As you're aware, I was appointed back in August to be on that as a member of the planning commission, and I've attended 3 hearings, the most recent just being last week. And, I've got some issues that I think we need to get corrected, before we receive further variance requests. Number one, Larry, you're on there as the member of the board, which is allowed, but you're not allowed to be the chairperson, which is Dwayne Stevens, and he's missed the last 2 meetings, leaving just you and I to decide on the hearing. And you told me last week that he's not interested in continuing. He needs to be replaced before we have any further meetings. We can't just have 2 of us on there. The other thing, which I've harped on this for a while, is we are allowed 2 alternates, and that would have been in a case like last week when he couldn't make it. We could have called the alternate. Or if either Larry or I would have had a conflict of interest, somebody could step in as that alternate as well. So we really gotta get that taken care of before we have any more hearings for variances. And number 2, it really is the chairperson's job to be sending out the notices, or the secretary, which I've taken on that role. We did have someone at last week's meeting tell me that he's known of variances in his neighborhood, but he hasn't gotten notified. In addition, we need to have a completed application before we'll even hold a hearing. Last week's application wasn't filled out. We have to have those completed. And then the third and final issue, which, you know, I'm struggling with this being a member on the ZBA, because, when I come to these hearings, I'm reading our ordinance, and it specifically lists 6 requirements that have to be met before we can grant a variance, and we're not discussing these. It's specifically spelled out in our ordinance, and I know, Larry, you said that if they pay their fee, and if the neighbors don't have a problem with it, you know, we should grant the variance, but, you know, that's a problem. A, because we have certain 6 standards that have to be met, and B, if we're putting, you know, tying money to getting around the rules, you know, what about someone who can't afford it? You know, they have to follow the rules. We really need to stick to our ordinance. Rules are rules, and they should apply to everyone. If there's special circumstances, that apply to a piece of property, sure, there could be, but if our zoning ordinance isn't, written properly, or it doesn't make sense, a certain regulation, we need to kick it back to the planning commission and have them look into potentially changing it. Otherwise, we're just gonna get request after request and charging people these fees. Again, we have specific rules and we need to, start following them. Anytime you bypass the zoning ordinance, it shouldn't be taken lightly. If our zoning rules are unjust or unfair, we need to go back to the planning commission and fix our ordinance, but we shouldn't be bypassing it, without good reason and meeting the 6 requirements in our ordinance. I'm really hoping that this board, you guys will talk about this and address this, because I really want it fixed before we get another request for a variance.
Amanda, would you put in, on the website,
Miranda.
what was it again?
Miranda.
Miranda. That, we, need, look for volunteers for, actually, we could use 2, one for an alternate, and like I said, Dwayne, just wouldn't get off anyway. So,
You can have up to 2 alternates.
You can have up to 2 alternates.
So I might as well fill those positions.
I don't think there's any use of having 2 alternates.
If you can find somebody that's interested, might as well.
Huh?
If you can find somebody that's interested, you might as well.
Well, we don't meet, I have no objection to having with it. We don't normally meet that many times, but,
And that position for Dwayne would be a potential for the chairperson. Because again, if you're a member of the board, you're not allowed to be the chair.
but you, I take it that you're gonna send out the notices from now on?
If that's something that you want the secretary to handle instead of the
Well, you
chairperson.
say it's in the, you say I'm not supposed to do it, so I'm glad to give it up.
Well, we'll have to talk about whether that's gonna be a responsibility of the chair or the secretary. That'll have to be hashed out, but
Well, in the past, the clerk has sent, it used to be before Todd took it on, Louis sent out the notices. I looked up the addresses for him, but,
well, Todd will have to be involved to some point, cause I don't have postage and I wouldn't pay it out of my own pocket for sure, so.
Well, I pick up some stamps and envelopes and I send it out, but, Todd, did help me get the addresses for this last one, but why you didn't get a copy of the, variance, and I think there was one other that didn't, said they didn't get a copy, I don't know what happened. Cause they were mailed.
And then as far as, the completed variance application, I think we talked about it with Dave, that if they don't fill out the full application, we're not even gonna schedule a hearing until it's done. And then, again, we need to get back to what our ordinance says about when we'll grant a variance. It's 6 requirements that have to be met. We can't just limit it to, you paid a fee and the neighbors don't have a problem with it. And I know that that's, you know, maybe been a precedent before, but me as a ZBA member, I want to, whatsoever in our ordinance, I want to follow it, so.
Any other, anybody have any questions, Brandy? Anybody else?
I'd like to support that. As you all know, I was was involved in a variance this spring, trying to get my son's pole barn done. I never got any explanation, never got any correspondence of why it was wrong and why it was good. It was just changed. I don't know why. I also have several people out at Town Line Lake. That place is absolutely totally upset with variances and things, because a lot of them have seen big projects going on around the lake, such as the new marina, the expansion of the campground. And many of those people living right along the road there never ever got any idea that anything was happening until it was after it was done. So I support what's going on here. And I built close to 30 different homes in my career. I built Wausau homes, over 22 Wausau homes. I built several here. I just finished Young Kevin's last year. I built a couple up north. And I would like to put my name in as someone that knows a little bit about construction, building, and roof pitches, things like that, to be on the Board of Appeals if that's necessary. If you're looking for people, I'd like to put my name in. I thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna support Pam Hemis, Smocom Township. I will support Brandy too, in that my husband has been on planning commission and ZBA in our township, and he has said, he's brought up those 6 points, and he said that there've been a lot of variances given that never should have because they did not meet the 6 points. So he's concerned about that as well in our township.
Anything else?
Linda Reynolds, I'm very curious, what are the 6 points? What are the 6 requirements?
You have it, Randy, I can look it up real quick. Okay.
This is what our ordinance says, so
Any different townships?
I think they're kind of universal, but,
They are.
Okay.
there has to be exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question that do not generally apply to other properties in the same district. Number 2, the condition or situation of the specific property for which the variance is sought is not of so general or recurrent a nature as to make reasonably practical the formulation of a general regulation for such conditions or situations, such as making a change to your overall ordinance. Number 3, that such variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right similar to that possessed by other properties in the same district. The possibility of increased financial return shall not of itself be deemed sufficient to warrant a variance. Number 4, the variance will not be significantly detrimental to adjacent property in the surrounding neighborhood. I think that one's somewhat easier to meet when you've got your neighbor's approval. Number 5, the variance will not impair the intent and purpose of this ordinance. And number 6, that the immediate practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship causing the need for the variance was not created by any action of the applicant. So that's from Cato's ordinance, which is, Dave's saying is
They're all-
pretty universal.
Seems like they're word for word, so pretty sure they are real close to it, so.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Leslie Rydell from Pine Township. I just wanted to respectfully bring to your attention in the Grand Rapids Press, Thursday, December 29th, there's an article about schools facing bankruptcy because of the turbine tax. And early on, we kind of warned different townships that these cases were all being taken to the Michigan Tax Tribunal, and the utility companies don't want to pay the taxes that the wind representatives and wind companies promised or led school districts and communities to believe that they would have. And I think it's Seawing School District is facing bankruptcy if Consumers Energy doesn't kind of back off of their plea that they get 1.2 million in disputed taxes that were levied on the wind turbine back from the schools. And, you know, I know we've been accused of spreading misinformation, but it's right here, and it made the Grand Rapids Press, so you wanna see it, or,
I read it.
okay, thank you, that's it.
They're going after back property, back taxes that were already paid.
Club, right,
Exactly.
right, that's what we're saying, is they promise just communities money
Mm-hmm.
that they're gonna have in revenue, and in this particular instance, you know, the utilities don't wanna have to
It's
pay
nothing,
them.
it's nothing the townships can do about it.
No, but that's why we're advocating,
Yeah.
you know, that it's not everything that the wind company promises.
I see a hand over there.
Matt Hubbard, Cato Township. I just have a quick question on the trail project. Has anybody got any updates of what's going on with that?
I haven't had enough data.
I haven't had an update either, but, the last one, I can't remember how many weeks ago, or how many months ago that meeting was, it said it was gonna be a while, they're pretty busy, so.
It's just kind of in a stall mode-ish, nothing really going forward.
Nothing at
Been
this
like a
point,
year and a
nothing's
half.
planned. Oh, it's been a year and a half.
Does the board, want to, scout, volunteers to be on the board? Does the board got any objections?
But I don't know.
Oh,
Like as on the board or as an alternate, I mean,
Well,
I think you should.
right now, he could be, Dwayne would like to be on, and, he's only, because he's been a friend of mine for so many years, he's agreed to stay on. But, I guess I would like to nominate that we appoint, Ben to the Board of Appeals.
not that I have any problem with Ben, but because it was just brought up at this meeting, I think it should be
Wait until we hear it.
to the next month.
That's good,
And we should, you know,
that's good.
Isn't
That's
there
good.
still
I'll
other
withdraw
positions
mine.
open?
What's that?
There's still other positions open.
But,
No, I can get a resume in. I like the idea that you have a process for this. And I have no problem with that. I can send you a little curricular vitae and show you what I've done as far as construction and building.
It'll go in the paper this month and then,
we'll
And you can review that and see what other people show up.
Dwayne first.